You know, in this economy, it's hard for some of us to keep up with the bills. Many people fall behind, and then come the calls, debt collectors asking for money. Did you know that you are protected from those sometimes harassing calls? Here to talk about the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act is Craig Kimmel of Kimmel and Silverman. Craig, good to see you. How exactly does it protect us?
It protects us quite a bit because debt collectors are very aggressive at doing what they do. Congress years ago said this is ridiculous. There's so many violations of collection practices that debt collectors will engage in to get their money. Let's have some rules and let's have some prohibitions so that consumers know what their rights are and that they don't have to put up with the aggravation, the threats, the harassment, and the deception.
I wish sometimes I could just pick up the phone and just say, will you stop calling me, and it would work. And what are the chances?
It will work if you know how to do it. A lot of debt collectors will not listen to you, but if you tell them, do not call me anymore and hang up the phone, that should be enough. Unfortunately, the law says you have to write a letter that says, don't call me, don't write me anymore. However, there's another section of the statute that says telling them to stop calling you and having them continue to do so is harassment. So maybe they don't have to cease and desist without a letter, but to continue to do so on a verbal request constitutes harassment, which makes it a violation of the law.
How many people know that? I don't think not too many people do they?
No, because they're talking to the debt collector and they're saying, don't you have to stop? And the debt collector says, no, I don't have to. I'm going to keep calling you. And they inflame that person to the point of getting them to the point of saying, okay, what will it take for you to stop calling me?
Wow.
Pay us.
Ah, okay. You get free legal help, too, speaking of that, right?
We do. We stop the harassment. You know, a debt collector has to acknowledge an attorney when an attorney says, we represent this person. And by the same statute, they have to say, we will no longer contact this person because you're represented. So they now call me, and I put an end to it. And we can also use the law and its provisions to either stop the harassment and get a monetary settlement sometimes, or oftentimes debt collectors are trying to collect debt that's way too old to get collected. So we stop that till we clear up your credit.
I was going to ask you about that. What if I have a debt that I can't pay and it follows me, you know, forever? I would think it would anyway. The statute of limitations on it? Talk about that.
Absolutely. Depending on the state you're in, there is a statute of limitations in every state for debt. And in most circumstances, debt collectors will continue to collect until they're proven by you to know that this is long enough. I'm not going any further with this. A debt collector has the right to collect an old debt no matter what the statute of limitations. The statute of limitations is a defense to the claim. So they may have the right to collect against you, but they've waited too long. That's a defense. You have to raise that defense in court if you're sued. A debt collector will keep calling you until you tell them to stop or write them a letter and tell them to stop.
That's summarized in 3 easy steps for our audience. Step 1, once again, for what we've been talking about, is what when it comes to this?
Well, know what the debt is and don't volunteer any information about yourself. That's the first thing. The second thing would be don't advise the debt collector that you're willing to pay the debt in any way until they've proven to you what you owe, who you owe, and when you incur that debt. And 3, for goodness sakes, if you're being harassed and you feel that it's just something you don't want to deal with anymore, get free legal help. The statute requires the debt collector to pay all attorney's fees if you have to hire counsel to get it to stop.
When I get a call tonight, I'm going to say that. Stop calling me, and then take it from there.
We all get them.
My man.
Thank you,
sir.
My pleasure.
Always a pleasure. By the way, for more information on Fair Debt Practices Act, you can go to our website, cbs3.com/TalkPhilly. We put a link to Craig's website right there just for you. Talk Philly, coming right back.